And you're back on the Bluff with Studio 771. The laptop shut down, so we're just gonna pick up where we were at. We were talking about America, gun rights, and how the founding fathers laid out these principles, like such as all men are created equal, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. All these notions that really only were there for, I guess you can say, white men, European men at the time. Mm-hmm. And now that it's 2021, it seems like they're trying to apply these principles now, finally. But it's a little too late for that. And we got to this conversation because we're saying gun rights are important because we need to protect ourselves from the government. And our special guest, you want to reintroduce yourself?
Oh, DaKwan.
DaKwan was talking about how we need to protect ourselves from the government. And you guys are all caught up now. So, but that's pretty much the gist of it. We're talking about Black Panthers, and yeah, that's my train of thought. They don't see us as citizens in that sense. Mm-hmm. I don't think. And I think now they're just trying to catch up with it because in the 1960s, and even before the 1960s, we were kind of seen as like other, or we're kind of seen as the help. Or slavery's over, okay, they're indentured servants. Like, they don't know what to do with the black, like, they probably call it the black issue in their secret meeting. Like, and now that there's an influx of brown peoples and, like, other races into America, I think they have to kind of
open up a
little bit.
Open up their ideology.
Thoughts?
I just feel like they don't want to accept, in the words of Dr. Sharice Nelson, political science, she says, like, black people, we are the blueprint. Like, if you go back to Africa and you even look at their governmental systems, when they colonized, they went off of what our government systems were already in, like, within tribes, within everything. And they just try to put it on top of what we already created, if you see what I'm saying, you know?
That's what they love to do anyways, if you look at the American history.
I just feel like I feel like they're fighting that we're, fighting to put us where they say, like, they already created, like, here in America. Like, to fit us into what they already have us established. Like,
fit us into a mold, almost.
That
it's like,
they already, tried to create. And I don't like that. And I feel like, who told y'all, like, y'all were up above us to place us where you want to place us? Why can't I be in the same position as you and seen as your equal and not I have to fight my way up to just be at your level?
Right. It's like they made their own lane. It's like how you have a carpool lane and then the rest of the lanes on the freeway. Yeah. And this carpool lane was only for them. And then all of a sudden, they're like, you know what? We're going to take away these double yellow lines. Everybody can drive here. But if you want to drive here, you must have these tires, and your car has to be white. And also, your interior can't be black, red, or blue. It has to be some beige color. Like,
it's
what?
It's giving homeowners association right now. Like,
for real.
But that's what it's like being a minority in America, I feel like. Because even Obama had to, like, kind of settle down a little bit when he became president, because he used to be very active and an activist in Chicago. When he became president, and certain issues we haven't heard Barack speak on since.
And that's because he didn't base his campaign on the black people. And I feel like a lot of people will say that, like, Barack Obama was the first black president, but he wasn't a president, I want to say, 100% for the black people. Because I've looked into
and this. And he couldn't be. It's kind of...
He couldn't, because he geared towards, like, I forgot the exact term of what this presidency was called in the political campaign.
I mean, liberal white people is what he was geared towards.
Yeah, he tried to gear towards, like, some black people, but he wanted the likeness of the white community.
No, he did. I was about to say, he used black speech and, like, black lingo and, like, honestly, that black swagger. But his politics was very much just old school Democrat.
That's literally all it was. He just did what he could to get both sides, like, the vote from both sides. Which is okay. He played the politics game.
It makes sense for him, but I mean, that's probably why I'm kind of shying away from politics these days. Because how much of myself am I going to have to compromise for the sake of just having a monetary success? Like, I can't do that.
That's why politics, like, especially with our system and our two-party system, it's kind of shoot yourself in the foot, because either which way you go, you're going to have to do things that you don't want to do. Just to have that backup from that party. Because without that, you're independent, and what did they do? They can't even get elected for real.
And that actually almost happened to me at the state capitol when I was a part of Louisiana Progress Action's lobbyist team. Like, I write down my testimony, but then they're like, but can we change this word, that word, this word, and maybe use this one because it's less offensive. and I'm like, damn.
Like,
just
y'all
waters
just,
it down.
I feel like politics are getting soft. I feel like
They are getting soft.
And I'm just like,
I mean,
as far as politics go, in general, I feel like it's getting soft. But I feel like politics is a hard game. And like, if you want to be a part of it, you gotta say what you want.
But
you can't be cut throat anymore.
Yeah, but like society in general is getting soft.
That's true. Well, I feel like they're starting. You know what's happening? I feel like the powers that be. You know, we always talk about that mystery class of people, like the powers that be who pull the puppet strings. I feel like they want things to be like right now they're softening us, right? But they're doing that in a sense, so I feel like eventually then once we're soft enough or desensitized enough to certain words and we don't use certain lingo no more, and then they can start rewriting history. And then it's like we won't even know. We won't
don't
even
remember
know
what happened.
Yeah, and then it's like, oh, it's not an issue. Everything's fine over here. You know what I'm saying?
It never happened.
It's like when I left California for the first time, and I come back, and I remember going back to California after my freshman year at Southern, and it felt so weird. I was like, I must be in a computer right now. Like this, nothing is real about California. It's too perfect.
Too perfect.
Like what's happening? Yeah, I mean,
like DC,
there's no trash on the ground.
It's like, oh, where all the black people go?
Yeah.
Where are the black people? Where's the trash on the ground? Like, where's this? Where's that? But if you go outside these communities, there is the real world.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they want us to live in a real world, and I'm curious as to why. I mean, there's even issues that I couldn't bring up on this podcast. You know what I'm saying? There's so many things you couldn't even bring up because of what, like the backlash, or even from Southern student body, people who are oppressed and they don't even know that they're being oppressed, to where they would even fight for their oppression without realizing.
This might be a stretch, but I feel like they're trying to clean up what they messed up, if that makes sense. Like, you know, in our meeting yesterday, you said, like, by this certain year, Baton Rouge is just going to be a beachfront.
Right.
I feel like they're trying to clean up messes that they know, like, on that higher level that they know they messed up on. Like Cancer Alley, I feel like they're all, like, they're going to try to clean it up to where we can't even fight for it when we get to their level, if you know what I'm saying.
That's true.
Like, communities and stuff where it's just, like, hazardous or they can't even, like, live at anymore. I feel like they're going to try to, like, cover it up in the most, you know, in their own way.
That's
to where,
true.
like,
by ruining it to the point of no turning back.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like that's where we're at right now. They're just trying to, like, clean it all up, and it's just going to look like, oh, dang, that's what it once was.
Like, they're old white men and women. Like, they're not going to be alive.
Yeah, like, our generation is the turning point of
because we already voting them out, and they're trying to push a little harder.
And literally, like, our generation, you're right. Because even, like younger siblings, like my brother, it's not even his responsibility. He wasn't even alive to remember certain things that I remember from way back when. Before pollution's always been here, but before it was just rampant. Or before, like, Cancer Alley's been here, but before we knew this, or before we knew that, like, the life was way different, like, post-2010. Even, like, 2014 on, things have changed in this world. And even race relations, with Obama being president, like...
They're scared. They're literally at home scared.
Can't do any, like...
We have black people in office. Our generation is speaking up, like, y'all, the world is dying, and I'm not going to stand for it. They're like, oh, my God, here they come.
Things are changing.
They're like, oh, my God, they care about their bodies. You don't want abortions. Like, you know, like, I feel like they're scared. They're trying to knock everything down.
It's
they're
choice.
Like, wait, college is too expensive now? Oh, my God, they know this, and they're going to fight for it. I feel like they're trying to do everything drastic because they know, like, our generation, we're going to come knocking at their doors. Like, we're not accepting this anymore.
I think it goes back to what we were talking about with, like, the Black Panthers. Like, I think they realized they tried to kill our leaders.
They did. They imprisoned them. They tried to destroy the seeds that they planted and pull up plants, but they didn't realize that these seeds already sprouted roots.
They did.
That actually goes into another point, that we don't have any black political leaders these days. We all look up to rappers.
I think they're in this room.
Oh yeah. But like,
but
with
the
notoriety, I can't pronounce that word. But if you think about it, the 50s, 60s, 70s, they were actually
Black activists.
Black activists, like leaders that were in the community every day.
That's true.
These days, we have rappers going to the president's office talking for us.
Right. And they're not even, they're rappers who don't even rap about, I guess you could say, conscious things or history or what's happening in the community.
Exactly. And it's like, why would I listen to Lil Wayne talk about, like, what?
Yeah, you went to go meet Trump, but how's that helping me?
Like
and
you're
helping
going
us,
there for your tax break.
Exactly.
You know, on our campus. What
and they're rich. Like, think about it. Back in the day, activists in that they weren't rich.
They weren't
they actually
making money.
Their money from the community. They
were pastors. They were local teachers. Or just someone who's 20 years old and they get tired of getting beat up by the cops. So let's all dress in all black and go mess some stuff up. You know? Like, that's reality right there. But I don't think this world... Because it's kind of like the whole Michael Jackson argument. It's like the whole, there will never be another Michael Jackson because that world didn't exist. Like, you're not going to have a father who's going to work their kids out like that and bring you to variety shows. Same way, the world doesn't exist in the sense that's going to allow for another black young man or woman to cause a revolution. They're going to kill us before we get the chance.
Which they would do, like all the people in Ferguson that popped up dead a couple years afterwards.
That's true.
Not to be a conspiracy theorist or anything, but that's kind of fishy.
Like in any good like Elijah McClain, he was killed.
That really hurt my heart.
Like he played violins for cats.
Yeah, wasn't he autistic as well?
Yeah, he's autistic.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Point being, it's like even the innocent kids who are just a true light in this world. Like black people, we really something special. Just like the real positive people too are getting killed. So we got no positive influences. We got no intellectual influences. All we have is drugs and trap music right now. Like, how are we going to change that?
And who controls all that? Who controls the drugs and trap?
I almost said something I shouldn't say, but certain elites. Certain elites of a certain demographic. Like, it's sad, actually. And Nick Cannon tried. He tried it. But they got him.
They gonna put you on shush mode. Something gonna happen to put you on shush mode.
That's true. And speaking of shush mode, Southern needs to be on shush mode with this weekend class thing they got going on. I don't know if listeners, if y'all saw that email. But
can I say something?
Yeah.
Isn't it crazy how we always follow after LSU makes their announcement?
Oh my God.
Like when
Southern
COVID,
wants to be LSU.
When COVID hit,
yeah,
we were in class. They said, well, I guess we're just waiting on LSU. Because LSU said they're going virtual a few days later. Okay, Southern's going virtual.
My goodness gracious.
LSU sent their email last week, so I'm like, they got to have weekend classes, make up their days. Boom, today.
We had 5 hurricanes last semester and missed all type of school. But we didn't have no
Saturday classes.
I feel like because they got this full population back on campus.
So they feeling good, you know.
Yeah, they're like,
oh. Like, how do you
and they recommended games
classes?
for it. They recommended like football game days. Like, oh, this home day and this away day.
They didn't say cancel. They said if we have home games, y'all just have to have different accommodations for this class. Make the classes virtual. Don't do them in person on game days.
That's not what my schedule says. My schedule says I meet at this class from Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You said nothing about Saturday and Sunday.
But how would they even do that for Saturday classes though? Because I have like 7 classes.
Or what about people who have jobs, who have kids, who have things to do? I don't think people really consider the other things students do. We don't just do homework. Like, we're involved in organizations. We have jobs. Some people have kids, car notes to pay. Like, what?
They're taking away 2 days a month. Never mind, no fall break.
Some people need them 2 days just to stay sane.
Just to chill. Just to be like, all right, I don't got nothing to do today.
Right. It's like just to sit down with my phone and do not disturb. What'd you say?
I said before midterms start. That's our break before midterms because they start, the 6th?
Oh my gosh.
Our break the 4th and the 5th, we're supposed to be off. Like, give me that. Like, let's just relax. Let me study for 2 days.
Southern University, man. I don't... What motivated them to do this? I guess because it's such a... I guess that's another thing. It's such a infamous moment, like Hurricane Ida and everything that happened in Louisiana. So, like, let's hop on the bandwagon and follow the other universities and not do or add school. I don't like that.
I don't either because they were so sensitive to, like, oh my gosh, everyone that was so impacted by it and, like, affected by it and lost their houses and everything. I feel like you can't do that and then say, you just have to make up these days of school that you missed.
Right.
On Saturday.
When I still have, like, if my laptop or school supplies were destroyed in the hurricane, what makes you think I'm going to have the supplies now to do weekend school? They got Hammond, Louisiana, still don't got no power. We know Huma don't.
Does LaPlace do?
I don't know, actually. But if Hammond doesn't, it's like, how does Hammond still not have power? It doesn't make any sense. Louisiana, right. I think, like, the emergency preparedness plan for the South, specifically Louisiana, needs to be improved upon. There's too many lives are lost or put in danger.
And we made some good points last podcast about that too. It just wasn't put together fully for Louisiana and down south just to be this.
Right.
For them to know, like, it's hurricane season. Like, the South is known for hurricane season. So, like, if you know this already, why do you only have one power solution?
Right.
It's the same in Texas too. If you look at it, didn't they have like power outage?
Yeah, the power outage in Texas and all those nursing homes and people were dying in nursing homes.
If you know this happens, why do you only have one power
it's crazy,
source?
These big states.
Like, Texas, of all people.
Well, we know Texas likes to be stubborn. Not to come for you, Texas, but you like to be stubborn.
They don't want to succeed from the U.S.
Y'all did it before. Y'all did it before. Y'all try it.
We're our own country.
They think they are, man. This entire South thinks they're their own country. Like, y'all, you do realize y'all lost the war, right?
We did it.
18, like, y'all, no.
That's why they just now had to remove the flag, the state flag,
yeah,
Mississippi. Because no way, like, y'all raised this flag nice.
You're holding on to an illusion. A dream of yesterday. It's not gonna come to fruition. It's over.
It's crazy how many
like, bro, Obama's been president, bro. It's over with. Like,
y'all are losing. That's why they had that protest.
I don't like that because I feel like a lot of people take Obama as being president as like, okay, racism doesn't exist anymore.
Oh yeah.
It's like, I mean, wait a minute, my guy.
Right.
4 years doesn't attribute to 400 years,
400 plus years.
Yeah, 400 plus years.
That's true.
And he wasn't a black activist, so.
True.
He was just a man, like a black man that became president.
Like,
which is back to my point.
That was fair skin.
Dick Gregory had a funny joke about that. Dick Gregory would tell people, it's like, oh, America's lucky they didn't have a actual, like, black president, because I would have got in there and planted a watermelon patch. That's what Dick Gregory said. So, like,
imagine if America had, like, Dr. Umar or somebody.
They would,
It wouldn't just be like.
It wouldn't have just been an insurrection at the state capitol.
They would have gone on for days.
Right. They would have actually succeeded from the, like.
It would have been the White House. It would have been.
They would have seceded from the Union, boy. No way. They would have been like, nah.
Texas would have been like, I'm out. I can't do this.
If I were to become president. I feel like, see, that's the funny thing about me, though. I feel like I really would have weaseled my way into a presidency. They'd be like, oh, y'all done messed up.
Oh, man.
Y'all
fine. I would play the game. I would honestly play the game to get there.
Chestnut checkers. And when I get in there, okay, so we're going to paint the White House.
Black. It's a black house now.
It's a black house. And Mr. President, why do you want to be called a black house? Well, you see, black people built this house.
Yeah. Hey. Twice. We
built
the house twice. Because when it burned down in Philly.
This ain't even the original ones. We built it twice.
It was in Philly first.
And DaKwan is Secretary of State. Just in case y'all know.
Oh, no, Department of Defense.
Yeah, he wear many hats. That'd be hilarious, though. Like, I don't know if I want to be president, though. Like, how do you guys feel about holding positions of office? So, like, we were talking about earlier how we have no leaders. And how a lot of them are fizzled out. But what about our generation stepping into these offices, like becoming a mayor or becoming a governor, becoming president? Like, what do you guys think?
I personally,
okay, for the lower levels, mayor, governor, yeah, I believe in that. For some reason, I feel like being the president is only ceremonial.
It is.
Because Supreme Court and Congress really have the big powers. I mean, you can declare war, but you really have to go through Congress to declare war unless you do a certain.
I forgot the exact term.
Yeah, I forgot the term for it.
Executive order.
Executive order.
You have like a month or so. You gotta bring the troops back. Yeah, I think presidency really is ceremonial, and also though, it's strategic for the keeping of peace. I feel like internationally wise.
Okay. Yeah, the president was a good talker.
Yeah, like you got to. That's why we were so worried with Mr.
Trump.
Orange. Yeah, Agent Orange in there because Donald Trump really was so reckless.
He just didn't care.
He didn't care because he knew it. He's like, hey, it's not my problem. Like,
but I don't know. Presidency, I feel like federal levels.
Mm-hmm.
Me personally, I don't think I could ever want to hold that level because I don't think I'd want to be controlled.
Mm.
As for presidency, I know like I feel like people are gonna pull strings behind my back. I'm just the face of I'm the face of this position, and I don't need you telling me in my ear what I need to do.
Right.
I want it to be my own. That's why when I want to go, like when I go to law school and everything, if I want to like hold position, I don't even think I want to do that. I just want my face known. Like I might lobby for real because it's on my terms. It's like what I believe in at this point, and y'all aren't gonna be pulling strings telling me what I need to do. I'm gonna fight for what I want, not just he said you have to say this.
And that's the thing. If I were to become I'm not lying to y'all. Like, not to get dark. If I become president, they're gonna kill me. I'm gonna be assassinated because they're not gonna pull no strings.
Or they're gonna make something happen.
Somebody's gonna. Oh, the president. President Barjon's leg has to be amputated, so he can't be. It's like what?
They're gonna make you say like you have to step down. Like they're gonna make a scandal happen. Like,
you gotta be the first president to resign. Like nah, I ain't gonna resign.
They're gonna Bill Clinton.
No, they're gonna sit me down like this. Like okay, Mr. Barjon. They're not even gonna call me. They're gonna say, look, Chuck. They're gonna try and belittle me. They're gonna like, look, either you resign or you are gonna get assassinated. Pick. Be like,
that's what I'm saying. The video
wow.
for the military guy that we watched for the bombing that happened in where was it, Afghanistan, where it killed 10 children, 10 people, and 7 children.
Yeah.
When he sat down and was having that whole conversation, he was reading from his screen. I have never heard the military apologize for a bomb that they did overseas.
They said they're gonna pay the victims of the family.
When have you ever heard the military apologize?
You know why? Because we found out.
That's what I'm saying.
Because we found out. And if we didn't find out, there wouldn't need to be an apology because the world doesn't know.
And I was just like, they made him do that, and he said, I take full responsibility because it was his decisions. And I'm like, who was in your ear telling you that you had to sit down and say this? Like, what was the if? You know, like if you don't sit down and take full responsibility and do this, what was the if? You see what I'm saying? Like, it was pulling strings. I've never heard the military.
Because we don't know about the military.
That's what I'm saying. Like, write a letter, like, have documentation, let alone post a video and say this.
That's not okay.
Like, I don't like that. Because I'm just like,
There's
if they don't like what happens, if they don't like you or like what happens,
it's over. You have to submit or else they will ruin your career. And
that's why I don't want that, because I'm like, you're not going to ruin everything I work for.
That goes back to why guns are so important in the U.S.
That's true. Owning a gun and being able to defend yourself in these positions. Like the Black Panthers, they legally used their guns. They had documentation on them, and the government still treated them that way. Which goes to show, perhaps it goes back to just saying being black in America just isn't legal.
And the goal of that, and now the most governed state pertaining to gun rights is California, where the Black Panthers started.
That's true. Like they're trying to punish, like
y'all have
backhand side.
In California, there's barely any gun rights. Like
there's none. I'm from Cal. Like
your
own a BB gun.
Your ARs have to look a little different. It got to be featureless. It's a lot of laws, and I'm just like, wow. All that stemmed from when the Black Panthers protested the police with all shotguns.
Back in Oakland.
All shotguns.
Legally.
And
that's what gets me, because they just, in Louisiana, they were trying to make a law to where you can walk around open carry without a permit.
Yeah, I've seen
permitless carry. And it's like, it's crazy because you got such a big contrast. Like, you got one state that's like, oh, let's have guns. And then you got another state that's like, yeah, we're gonna take your guns. It's crazy. And then also it makes me think to like the Black Panthers, right? Like they had the documentation. It's like they can do it legally. But if that was a white person, I feel like with documentation it wouldn't have been an issue.
Texas,
I'm literally scared. Like I'm not scared, but from personal experience, documentation is my thing. Like if you don't have documentation, like because I'm black, so I don't care. Like
it doesn't matter if I get the documentation. You're still gonna kill me.
I'm trying to. That's what I'm saying. But I at least try to have everything in order. Everything before you even came here. Make sure I got booklets and everything for my driver's license, my registration. I don't gotta go to the.
Look, I got it posted on the outside of my window. Y'all just open that little zipper.
I have it in my.
Take it up.
I have it in my I have it in my visor. Like I just. Even though it's like I'm not to say I'm scared, but I'm gonna do everything.
I'm scared. I'll be the first to tell you. Like I remember when the hurricane came. and I was scared. I was like, dang. It's like, I'm not gonna let no one know I'm scared. I was like, you know what? No, I'm making a tweet. I said, y'all, I'm scared. Like, I'm from California. My first interaction with the cop, when I'm driving, they pull up next to me and they're like doing hand signals and stuff. I didn't stop my car. I'm looking at them and I was frozen. Even if I wanted to stop, I couldn't stop. It's like, as a black man and black people, we never know when it's our last moment on this earth. Like, I can walk outside, out of Higgins right now, and let's say somebody else did something disorderly, but I'm the first black face they see. How do I know I might get shot? It's like you never... to be black in America is always to be stressed.
Literally, but I'm gonna live life. Like I said, I'm gonna just have documentation everywhere. Because even if you try to have me, even if you like try, even if like I have everything together, I promise you, I'm gonna sue you.
You wouldn't want to be on the list coming from a gun owner and who I be around and how I see the wave of this country is going as far as gun rights. You don't want to be on the list. You don't want to be anything, because once you're on the list and that documentation says, oh, they live here, she has this gun, she has to put it in this place, because in certain states you have to tell them where you put your gun at and where it is in your house, where it is in your house specifically.
I don't like those laws, especially like in Virginia where it has to be like visible. I don't like that. If it's in your car, it has to be on the dash or on the seat. I don't like that because listen, they know the law, but if they see a gun in my dash, I feel like they're gonna try to just stop us in the car, be like, "Stop! I see a gun!" Like, it's your law though in your state. You said you have to. Or see
sometimes you gotta drive with like your gun's over here, but the chamber's over here, and the bullets are over here. It's like, yo, like,
it's a scary thing.
It's like, and they always. So, what do you guys feel about the Second Amendment?
Oh, it's one of the most sacred amendments.
All right.
I support it. I really never put anything past it. Like, I never thought too much about it until, so he has, he's a gun owner. And
guns owner,
plural. We're gonna make sure we say that. But of course, like around my family, I've seen guns. We hunt, we do this, that. I just thought it was like a norm, until like, news started coming about and all the shootings and stuff started happening, like school shootings and everything, and everyone's making it like not to discredit saying a big deal because it really was, serious, like kids and stuff died.
It's true. Them little, I almost said something. Them little white boys were killing a lot of people. Not to offend anybody, but yo.
And you know why?
Domestic terrorism is an issue in America.
You know why? It's partly due to us villainizing guns. See, you know why it wasn't as many school shootings back in the 60s, 50s, 70s? Because they had machine guns back then. That was machine gun territory. That's when we were allowed to have machine guns. They were educated. It was, this is a gun. At an early age, this is how you use it. This is this. Boom, boom, bow. This is not a toy. This is really, no.
It gives bad boy behavior now, for those white boys. It gives like bad boy behavior, like
oh my
god, like
oh, it's scary
to be creepy. They're ominous with a gun.
Like I'm
gonna come to school with my gun. Like what?
Like I'm gonna be real dark and just like I'm gonna do all this and like I'm just mood for real. I'm just gonna go get a gun. I'm gonna go sneak out my house and my parents aren't gonna know. I'm gonna go get a gun and I'm gonna show you guys how
because guns are not inherently bad. It's the people
who use them.
It's a tool. A gun is a tool.
That's why the mental health screenings are important. But I know a lot of people feel like that's an infringement of their privacy. They get a mental health screening. That's like another Republican argument against.
See, and back to our last podcast. Listen, I don't like that because they're hypocrites. They pick and choose what is allowed and what's like personal space, what's not personal space. You tell me y'all don't like masks, but then you tell me I can't have it. Like I can't do what I want with my body. But no, oh my God, we can't check your health because that goes against my privacy. Really but then again, I can't go to the doctor and tell the doctor what I want to do with my body, even though that's my personal space. But don't let me tell you. Oh, I just need to check your health really quick. Just answer a few questions, but no. Oh, yes, she can't. You can't go inside of her personal area. You can't do it. Like
that's crazy.
You see what I'm saying? They pick and choose when they want personal space or bodily, things like that to be oh, that's not allowed, but this is allowed.
Legal in that
It's
sense.
on two different spectrums.
And who's to say, you know, like you were saying before, correct oppression, and to care after one's life, and to, I think, Old Testament, like, be fruitful and multiply. Things like living and life. Like, who's to say I can't have my gun to protect my life and to ensure that I can fulfill this or that? Like, would God tell you, would God genuinely, if he were to come in here right now, just walk in and sit down, would he really tell you lawmakers, oh yeah, y'all can't have these guns because whoop-de-whoop? It's like, no, like God gave prophets sticks and things to turn into snakes,
arrows,
all type of things to defend
bows.
yourself. God himself, his angels got arrows. Like in the Bible, when you read war stories, like and God slaughtered them with his mighty sword, but the army didn't know he was there with them. Like, what do you mean?
That's
like,
all the gun is.
I don't like when people bring religion into politics only to pervert the religion. Like, don't pervert the religion to get to your goal.
Yeah.
Or try and
Twist
force.
the words.
Like, if your nation and your law is going to say separate church and state, then keep it separate.
Don't
That's how y'all
have the
operate.
president put their right hand on the Bible.
So I'm different. Like, I'll be the first to, because I come from like a Ethiopian nationalist perspective point of view. So I'm always thinking like, my preferred government is monarchy. I want the empire back in Ethiopia, and I want to live there in the empire. But I'm in America right now, and according to y'all rules that you guys wrote a long time ago, there's a separation of church and state. So stop trying to intertwine them and force your own ideologies onto women, for one, and gun owners, and all type of things. Like, that's another argument they say, is America a Christian nation? Although it's not, y'all really act like you're a Christian nation. And you try to demonize anything that's outside of Protestantism, to be honest.
Back to what you just said, it was built on it. They don't even know what it was built on. They did not believe in what they want to believe in now.
Yeah, they were deists.
That's what I'm saying. For them to keep saying like Christian and Bible and like the teachings.
They don't know Christianity.
They didn't. That's not what the founding fathers
because
were
they
based
left
on.
because of the Pope in them, right? Because they had.
Well, yes,
it's
bigger than that.
Yeah, it was like
it's
taxation.
the English church.
Yeah,
like, when they first came to America, they left America on some colonization. They just wanted to take over the world. But the reason why the Puritans and them left is because they're called Puritans because they thought they had a pure form of religion. So they left the Anglican church, which is the English church. And the English church left from the Catholic church. So like they came here trying to live out like their better Puritan Christian life. That's why in like American history, the Catholics are seen as a group that's been oppressed in a sense. Because the Protestants would like react negatively to Catholics. So like JFK, John F. Kennedy, he was seen like, oh, that's a Catholic president, we gotta watch him. Or like, what's he gonna do with religion in the church and with being president? That was a whole topic back when JFK's president, and now it's coming back again now because Joe Biden's Catholic. So they're like, oh wow, what's Joe Biden gonna
he was
do?
Like Protestant, because I know
Joe Brown.
I'm trying to think because I know he had you know how like the Bible's ceremony, everything. He had his family Bible that was been passed down for like centuries.
Oh, Joe Biden?
Yeah, and
I
was trying to think if it was like I thought he was Protestant.
No, he's Catholic because he was the Catholic, like I guess their priest, the father, denied him communion recently because his stance on abortion. So the Catholics denied him. Yeah, straight up.
It gets real.
But that's where that term WASP comes from. Like white Anglo-Saxon Protestant. Like the America is full of wasps. Like not wasps, like with the C.
Yeah, but
you know.
Yeah,
but it's the peace for Protestant for them, and it's crazy. Like even religious history, I'm so passionate about it, cause like that goes way back. Like this Christianity that they practice now is so different from the Christianity like they practiced 2,000 years ago. And like the one that I practice the Orthodox Christianity. That's older than Catholic Christianity. That's the oldest one on the planet. So like when I hear about certain Protestant practices, I'm truly taken back. I'm like, wow. Like I'm not surprised this is why America is the way America is based off what you guys are doing. Not to judge anyone's religion, but sometimes you gotta look back over certain things and see that they're not right.
I really want to go through all the teachings and like all the different deities through Christianity, because I thought in all Bibles it was just like a sin is a sin, not when like different ones that they get to pick which one,
different levels,
different levels of like
sin is sin. That's
what do you mean like my sin? Like
there's not even such thing like Christians. My Christians out there, why are y'all so obsessed with sins? If by your religion your Lord came and died for that sin. And technically, through his death, he himself killed death. Death doesn't exist, nor does sin, in a sense. And if all you have to do is repent, basically what I'm saying is, y'all don't understand your own theology. Yeah. And you're trying to guilt trip people. Yeah, they're trying to guilt trip you all the time.
As you pro-lifers.
But it's not your problem. Like, you can't guilt trip me or my religion. I have a personal relationship with Jesus, if you want to call him Jesus. Like, religion isn't, I don't know. I can go on and on about religion because I study it passionately.
Especially American religion. White man, Jesus, in Egypt?
Right, it's a whole different concept. Like the name, cause the letter J didn't exist way back when.
Jesus.
It was, a Y or an I. Like in Egypt, in Ethiopia, or in Egypt you might hear Isos Christos. Or in Ethiopia you hear Yesus Christos. Or back in like the Hebrews will say Yeshua. There's all type of different names. And then when Latin became the world religion,
what's Yahweh?
Yahweh, it means is God. It's YHW.
Okay.
So Yahweh is supposed to be like a name, or Yahuwah, Yahshua. These are Old Testament Hebrew names for God. Like you'll have like Yahweh Al Abinu or things like that, like the Lord Most High. So it just means it's like a prefix in a sense.
Like Allah means God.
Yeah, in that too. Like, for example, I'm a Coptic Orthodox Christian, which is in Egypt. It's the Egyptian church. They speak Arabic there. So in my Christian church, we say Allah, because Allah means God. That doesn't mean, it's not a Muslim term. And that's another thing that bothers me about America. They are so ignorant to world cultures and societies. So where you think Allah is just Muslim, and it's not. It's literally a word.
Just a word, my guy.
Literally.
But then, America also thinks Muslim is a race, so.
That's true. They think the same way they think Jew is a race, and it's not. Things like that don't even make sense to me. I don't know. I guess, and as a history major, they really don't make sense to me. Because I'm like, wait, if we have a history here, why are we ignoring it?
Yeah.
Because they pick and choose.
So, how do y'all feel about the U.S. pulling from Afghanistan? And how the Taliban is really about to take over that whole side of the...
We talked about this in our last podcast.
That's true.
Good point.
It gets unchy.
It was like, I remember last podcast, I think I said I really didn't think too, not to say I didn't think too much of it. It was just like, dang, this has gone on for 20 years, kind of like, why now? And then I mentioned how military just really isn't my thing. Because I just feel like, why don't we mind our business? I don't like the bombing of places. I don't like seeing just kids die because I feel like they just go over there. Like, I understand fighting terrorists. That's that's a thing. But sometimes I just feel like we're just itching to just be there to make our presence known.
See, I thought the same. I actually wrote a couple letters to our governor in Maryland, Steny Hoyer, about that, about how we shouldn't. But now I've grown up and actually looked at the outside world and how they live compared to us. It will start another world war if we don't stay over there. The way the Taliban is moving, and the way South Korea is moving, and the way China is moving. They are all intertwined with each other.
They are, and I get that part.
That is a big. It's a big cover up. Big problem.
It's a big cover up because they're out of Afghanistan, but guess where they just went? Ethiopia. They're in Ethiopia now, trying to destabilize Ethiopia and then split it up. That's a problem for us Black Americans because Ethiopia is the only country that's been uncolonized and unconquered by Europeans. But Joe Biden is infiltrating them and supporting the terrorist group that's against the government.
We supported the Taliban at one point.
Right, but...
they always do that.
Currently, actively, Joe Biden, the President of the United States, is supporting the terrorist group called the TPLF in Ethiopia, when technically the United States and Ethiopia are supposed to be allies in the United Nations. What is Joe Biden doing?
Are those
He's literally transgressing his country.
Who's a terrorist group? Like, are they
TPLF? They're the Tigray People's Liberation Front.
So are they from Ethiopia?
They're from the region called Tigray within Ethiopia. It's an ethnic group within. In Ethiopia, you have people like the Oromia, the Tigray, and the Amhara. They have different ethnicities, but they're all Ethiopian.
Okay, pardon my ignorance, but where is that in location to that slave trade that's happening in Africa?
So Ethiopia is in the Horn of Africa, so they're on the east side of Africa. So they weren't as involved in the slave trade. They were not slaves ever. This is a people who were never colonized.
Even the ones that's happening
never
right now?
colonized.
Okay.
Never at all. They have
always
always resisted. And actually, World War II started in Ethiopia because Italy tried to colonize Ethiopia in World War II around that time of Hitler and all that. At the same time, they tried, but it didn't work. And they won, Ethiopians won, using like old weapons, like not even modern technology. They still won. Just because like the sheer might.
Guerrilla warfare. You can't come to my city and think I know where everything is.
They tried it. They tried it twice actually. The first time they didn't win at all. That was under Emperor Menelik II. The second time they came during when Haile Selassie was emperor. And that time, Italy was able to occupy Ethiopia. And they tried to set up a government, but they failed. Haile Selassie still went to like the League of Nations in Geneva. And he went around the world speaking about justice and injustice. And he has a famous speech where he pretty much says that until the color of a man's skin is no different than the color of his eyes, there's going to be, like, this injustice is going to live on forever. They call it the war speech. But it's crazy. Point is, why is Joe Biden doing this? Like, this literally is going to thrust, like you said, a World War III. Because if Afghanistan's falling apart, and then you have Ethiopia becoming destabilized.
And you have China over there working with North Korea.
China and North Korea and all of the, like,
and
what's
China's
happening?
already on the east coast of Africa as is.
And also, exactly, China has been neocolonialism.
And that's why we weren't able to go over there.
Jamaica too.
Yeah, because it bothered me, like, when this, like, started going into it, like, how the U.S. wasn't able to help Sudan with their issues. That's always going to be a big issue for me, all because of China. Right. The China's oil over there. That's always going to be a big issue to me because I'm like, we're in everyone else's business.
Right. We have so many problems here.
Yeah, and it's just like, oh shoot, we could go, but dang, if we mess with China's oil,
they're going to mess with us.
And then that's like all of our stuff.
It's crazy though.
It's just like international relations is like a really big thing for me. Like I really like, because everything is all tied together. You can't do this because this country is partners with this country. This country is allies with this country. Right. We have partnership with them, but even though we don't like them, it's like it all goes like this.
It's gang politics. That's all it is.
It's big games.
If you think about it,
it's disappointing.
And America's just like we're lowering us.
And it's like we go over there, we go under the guise of helping a third world nation, but for some reason that always includes the military and guns and destruction.
I say, I don't ever want to use the word help.
Like I don't want to. Like America shouldn't help nobody. We need to help ourselves for a bit.
Because like military going over there, I never want to say the word help because I feel like yes, it's helping us, but like the destruction behind it is what gets me. Because like. Yeah, they made that video talking about we're gonna pay the families. What about all the buildings you destroyed? Like, yeah, you got the terrorists out. Now where these people gonna live? And then if they try to immigrate to the United States, then what? You're not gonna let it happen, even though you blew up all their buildings to get the terrorists that you wanted to fight and help them out. But then they want help from you now because you helped them.
Which brings me to another
like a cycle,
point.
You know?
And it brings me to our last point. We're over the 40-minute mark. But you said that about the immigrants, right, in Afghanistan. It made me think about recently those Haitian immigrants and how they were being...
Carry that on to the next one because I really got something to say.
They were being beat. You saw the pictures, right?
They're whipping them.
They're riding on horseback, whipping
Border Control is
Haitian...
horses going like this with whips hitting the Haitian.
To Haitian Americans.
The kids running like they have kids on their back. Like
so...
White Border Patrol's like this.
You got 1821
versus
2021.
Yes.
Yeah, things that are happening back in 1821 are not happening now.
Them.
Isn't that crazy?
And I love Haitian because they was the first one to stand up.
The only successful slave revolt.
Yeah.
Haiti, Toussaint Louverture. They're still mad at Toussaint Louverture.
That's my man right there. He
Like,
did that.
And with that being said, I gotta say thank you for tuning in to Studio 771. We had a conscious discussion today. Remember to turn back next Friday when my computer's working again and the sound effects are there. But until then, you guys have a blessed day, and we're out.